Well, we're at Strawberry Fields, ready for the last leg of the John O'Groats to Land's End event. Good turnout of cars, and the sunshine end at the moment. Right, I'm handing over Cecil now for the next leg of the run, and he's going to ride with Colin and the J2 for this leg.
So the car was 90, you were 80. Fast forward 3 years to today. Why have you decided to do it again?
Well, it's the 100th birthday of the MG car company this year, and I got together with a friend of mine, Rob Constant, and we decided that we would do this trip with 3 aims in mind. One was to celebrate 100 years of MG. Second was to show that the mark of friendship within the club could do whatever it takes to organise an event like this. And 3, we raised a few bob for charity.
And do you know how much so far you've raised?
It's about 3,500 so far.
Fantastic. Now you've been a fan of MGs for quite a while, if not the full 100 years. You're not that old. How long have you been into them?
Since I was 4.
We're down at Hawkins Motors now at Blackwater. Managed to get Cecil this far, so we're not too far to get him to Land's End now. Good collection of cars here. All the competitors and the sales cars, make quite a good collection. Right through the years.
say a few words. They're mostly words of thanks, to be perfectly honest. And I think the initial and biggest thank is probably going to go to Jeff and Rob for how they came about the whole idea. It was probably a drunken moment. Thank you very much for coming up with the idea. We all enjoyed it, and I'd like to think that the charities at the end of it will receive some monetary reimbursement. I don't know how other centres are doing it, but we know what we're doing, so any surplus we get from this event, apart from our small ministerial costs, should we say, it'll all go back to the two charities, split equally. I'd also like to thank all of the other centres. I know that's not really my place. We're right at the end of this event. Everybody has put effort into it somewhere along the line to produce what has been, as far as I understand it, from what I've heard from people, an enjoyable event for people, which it's all about. And again, it has raised money for good charities. I think the MG dealerships need a bit of a thank you. They certainly are the two that we've had direct contact with down here have been absolutely fantastic. Whether we are lucky in the fact that we have almost two family-run concerns. Okay, Henry's maybe not quite so family, but certainly Hawkins very much up. Yeah, I know.
It's a big family.
Yeah.
Extended.
As far as our 2 days of events down here go for our centre, I think, you know, thanks again. I know people don't like being picked out, but Barry put a lot of time, Barry Smith put a lot of time, wave your hand Barry, in doing the event routes for the 2 days, so that people had, without getting them too involved with horrible traffic down this end, to try and avoid the traffic and see the scenery. Also, I think I ought to thank Settle. He never got one of his drivers lost, as far as I'm aware.
No, we knew where you were.
But I suspect if you ever looked at the tracking route that he took, it would be quite strange.
It's a twiddly bit.
I also think that maybe a round of applause from everybody would be in order to thank all of the organisers and participants. We can organise an event. If people don't come along and take part in it, it's not really an event. And I think that is probably enough for me to say at this stage. I think John might have something to say, so I'd like to introduce our president, John, who will...
Cavalcade objectives, because the first one, just reading what was in the safety file, celebrate 100 years of MG in an inclusive and visible way as possible, with support from all CRBs. And as Colin has said, that has been done, I think, magnificently. I think the second one is the one that brings with me. Bring the clubs in to the bring to the club celebrations in a very active way in the UK. MG's on the road, having fun. Don't you feel with the MG Car Club, I know I say this to lots of groups, you know, we're not without our difficulties, are we, in the MG Car Club? We seem to generate them, and it can be quite tiresome at times, certainly from my perspective, but I'm sure from yours as well. But what some people seem to forget is that the reason we buy MGs is to have fun in them, and the reason we go out like them today, and all the runs of them, is to have that fun. And people seem to forget that. They get so wrapped up in the blessed club environment and all the things that are going on, they forget the fun bit. And Rob constantly reminds me, because Rob and I go back a long way, right from the very first day I bought my vintage car. He was about this high. Still is. So lucky to have him in the club doing what he does, and along with good self, Jeff and Linda. Fantastic what you've achieved, because all good ideas are ideas until somebody says, I can make that work. And they almost single-handedly at first did that. And absolutely...
Not me.
No, every idea needs leaders, doesn't it? And they've been the leaders. And could anybody lead more than Jeff? Actually driving all the way in his ancient car, and he's traversed the country 3 times, is it? Going directly. It's just incredible. So, you know, going back... Yes, well, I shall get the ladies on the They also serve in the passenger seat.
He's learned 15 new words since
As this centenary comes to an end, I think we can honestly say that this is it, isn't it? This is the final act in the 1 year of the centenary and MG. And fantastic it's been. And what a way to finish. I can't think of anything. When I first heard about this event at council, I heard that it was going to be, you know, this what's happened. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, well, that's a brilliant idea, but how are they going to make it work? Yeah. And because of the club, the way it is, with so many enthusiastic people right across the country, all doing their bit locally, we've been able to enjoy what has been a national event. Fantastic. I've always been proud of our club, but I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of what this club has achieved in this last year, and especially in this latest and last event. So thank you all for all your individual contributions, even if you've only taken part. That's part of the whole thing, isn't it? So brilliant. So I'd like to thank Colin for his words, and hope you all have a very successful summer. And,
we had that last week.
I understand the sunset here could be quite nice, is that right? As long as my car doesn't roll back down into the sea, I should be good. So, I bless you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Thank you.